exactly what they needed to do. That's what I absolutely love about these pro games. They always have a goal in mind, so they know that they want to take out the bunker, and there you go, mission accomplished. They took it out, and now there won't be any recapping, or should I say picking up of the casualties.
I was gonna get
As a note,
that armored car.
Go ahead.
The M8 was going to that armored car. Yeah, I think he's gonna get away. Pack though now.
Yeah, you've also got defensive doctrine chosen by the Whermacht, due to the MG guys sitting on top of the buildings.
That's right.
Right.
So what could this M8 actually be doing?
Well, the M8's hunting the light vehicles on the field right now, and how effective that's going to end up being for him, kind of dicey.
Exactly.
They really pushed the axis back though. After that.
Yes, they definitely did.
And now we actually have the Axes. The Whermacht actually has a pack out, so he's gone for Krieg Barracks. So he's got actually 2 packs out now. So he's obviously planning ahead for any vehicles on the field, and just that M8. So he just took that out. So very good use of the packs right now. Definitely paying off from the get-go.
There were 2 rifles on retreat, and they hit a mine and took down a whole squad.
Now, the Germans actually have to be very careful at this point because a British 25-pounder just came up and is now beginning to shell the road.
And all those units there?
Oh no. This is looking quite bad. So exactly, the Brits know exactly what's happening. I mean, they're firing all this artillery. They're keeping their guys specifically, they're keeping their infantry specifically away from the artillery. Obviously not to get mangled in between that. I also like their placement of their base, just right in the middle. I don't know, I absolutely loved how they just moved everything right into the center. So you've got your emplacements here, all neatly separated, just in case if there's any sort of barrages or anything, then they wouldn't all be hit at the same time.
Yeah, and you also have that forward HQ up by the PE, and that's really helping keep those Wehrmacht units viable on that east side there. Gives you a reinforced point and some healing constantly.
So, Greatness, do you think it's actually a good idea that Boogem is going for an M8, because he has a second M8 out? After losing that first one, he has another one. Do you think it's actually the correct response?
I think it's always good to have light vehicles to support your infantry, because you don't want a scout car running in there. I mean, armored car or anything. Just coming in, killing your units.
Yep. And now we actually see a flat going down from the Axes right now. I don't think I can actually agree with that, just for the fact that there's a mortar that can easily reach it right now. There's also that 25-pounder, and considering that there's so much artillery on the field, I mean, the Americans and the Brits don't have that many vehicles, so I'm not exactly sure if that's the correct response. And considering it's so close right now, given the fact that the flak has so much range, it could maybe be put a bit farther back. But I can see what it's trying to do. It's trying to use its range to take out the HQ of the Brits right now. How successful that will be, we will see.
Got a big assault over here on the east side and a push off of the British troops. They have a lot of infantry.
It's generally what you wind up seeing though, so.
Yeah.
But heads are on the field on the left side.
And finally, yeah, exactly. We have
off the M8.
There's just a bit of action finally on the left-hand side, so just a little bit of skirmishing. Can this M8 actually do anything against the Hetzer? I don't think so.
It can if it gets to the rear, but what you really have to worry about is stickies from the rifles in combination with it.
Yeah, I mean, he should be trying to really get away from those riflemen. I mean, look at that. The riflemen just putting a sticky on. This rifleman squad landing on a mine, so pretty cool right there. But badly damaged engine. Is his engine going to be destroyed? And yes, it is. So most likely it is. No, it's not immobilized, so it can still move, but at a very, very sluggish pace. This is leaving it to a anti-tank, and funnily enough, an anti-tank is there and just about to take it out.
And don't miss the east side. You got a great deal of Panzergrens, Pios.
And that's right, exactly, the east side.
To try and finish off these wounded British squads.
They're really looking bad. Oh, but he retreated.
British troops are pretty tough, though. You get that close with Panzergrens before they're vet 2 on Bren carrying squads and those kinds of things, and they're gonna get hurt.
So Ryan, I know we were talking about this just a bit earlier, but like when it comes to veterancy for, say, your MP44s on your Panzergrenadiers, do you think it's the right way? Do you think they're going about it the right way right now, going with defensive first and then whatever else afterwards?
Particularly against the British, you want to go defensive just because even the base rifles are pretty brutal against the soldier armor and everything that goes with it. The other thing to note is that Hetzer, despite all of the stickies that it took on the left-hand side, is still alive, and it actually did take down the M8 over there as well.
Also,
I'm actually quite surprised. What happened to that AT gun?
It just got shot.
It got shot and destroyed. So basically this Hetzer is very badly damaged. I was personally thinking that it would go down very easily, considering its engine was damaged, but it looked like it took out, what, the M8 and the anti-tank?
It did,
almost everything over there.
Oh my gosh.
We got the British moving off of their base sector, and the 25-pounder and casualty clearing are done.
See, I just want to say something. I think because the American player was distracted by that, his teammate got annihilated.
Yeah, I agree. You know, the only reason they held that east point for as long as they did versus the MG and the combined forces of the Panzergrens and the armored cars is because they had American support to go with it. The American rifles in the area, the M8 keeping the armored cars at bay. As soon as they lost that element, it really hurt their stronghold on the east side.
And then everything just went down. They were just constantly pushing them back. I mean, as you guys saw, the British were just constantly retreating, and it was just too much, and they had to retreat all the way back to their base. Back to the Americans' base, actually.
And that is a long, lonely run.
And basically now the middle is totally clear. So what we had there, we had emplacement, 2 emplacements down. We had a casualty clearing center. We had a HQ, and now it's just all gone. So very good job for the Axis. That is a very big loss for the Brits right now because they're very heavily dependent on that sort of early gain of territory.
We got quite a bit of manpower floating up on the Panzer Elite side, and I don't know if that's just because of the micro-heavy battles on the east side. We also got a big flank coming into dead center near the VP.
What he might be saving for some Panthers.
You think?
Could be.
Could he be at that stage already?
I mean,
do you think?
You got tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4 up. I wonder if he's waiting on fuel for an upgrade though, because he's only got 44 fuel, and you need 60 for the Panzer IV.
So there's absolutely loads of manpower right now. I mean, it's what, 1,000 for 2 Panthers?
Yes.
So
right. That is cheaper than buying them from the Whermacht, because you pay 600 and 110 fuel from the Panzer Command.
Mm-hmm. But I think in the meantime, he could easily be building or buying something. But right now,
well, he's got enough floating now. He could definitely use some more in the way of infantry.
Artillery on that fuel point.
It seems like the Allies, ever since they lost the middle, they've been severely pushed back. I mean, as you guys can see, it's just they've lost a lot of control of the map right now.
Yeah, they really need to just reinforce and try to get back.
Do you see an armor truck at all, Krebs?
Could you say that again?
I said, do you see an armor truck for the Brits?
I see a normal headquarters. I see a field support truck, and I don't really see an armored one right now. Anywhere, no.
He doesn't have it out yet.
It's kind of surprising knowing that you've got tank hunters on the field, but you know, with as much of in the way that British infantry work, particularly against Panzergrens. But that means that your Whermacht player is going to be much more likely to try and bring an Ostwind on the field, and you're going to need a counter for that.
So yeah, basically, as you were saying, they could probably use with some sort of like anti-tank. I mean, they're just basically going for a very heavy infantry strategy They're basically the only anti-tank they have is just from the sappers right now.
Now, I missed this earlier, but the Whermacht player has 3 Vet 3 snipers running around on the left side of the map to try and handle the infantry.
And that's actually, I would say that's a very good response to all that British infantry. I mean, per volley, that's 3 guys.
Yeah, you have 25 kills in between the 3 of them.
He has a counter sniper out, but he's retreating to the base, and we'll see if he can get a counter snipe on one of them, but it's gonna take forever. There's the Panthers.
And here
I don't
we
know
come.
that would. The Panthers are nice to stall that push, but with Piat squads and Souks on the field, you got to be kind of careful. But those snipers are going to handle the Piat squads.
Snipers are going to handle everything.
I think that was a very good situation for the Axis, to be honest. I mean, even though there was all those bazookas and sappers, I mean, just the snipers alone. I mean, even if the Panthers just stayed there and took some shots, the snipers alone would have just scared away all those bazookas.
Well, you figured just a second ago we had 25 kills on the 3 snipers, and now we're up to 35.
That's absolutely crazy. So definitely paying off just for their cost.
I think they should have titled this replay "How to Own a British Player on Rails and Metal."
I mean, the British players are especially blobbing up.
And more already coming down.
Yep, that's American and British already.
Yeah, that looks... Is that a creeping barrage?
I didn't see the smoke on it. Oh, maybe.
There was smoke. There was a second set of smoke.
Well, I mean, the Brits can get priests. Whether they have a priest... no, they don't actually have one.
What am I talking about? No, there's a 105.
The Brits actually have an armored command truck up now.
Yeah, you would definitely hope to see that with the Panthers on the field. I mean, Fireflies at least give them a run for their money. You know, with the Whermacht you have the option of buying the vet, but with Panzer Elite you really have to earn it, which can make them a little more fragile than what they would typically be up against a vanilla matchup.
Well, yeah, but once they get it, man. And Group Zeal and all that.
They're race cars once they get defensive vet.
The sniper's running away.
Uncamouflaged, so get out of there as quickly as possible.
That's common against British infantry in particular because you actually hold the advantage on speed with snipers uncloaked. So as they start to move, you just micro them back out of range.
That's right, unless they got a lieutenant or some sort of commander with them.
Yeah. Snipers are now up to 45 kills.
An allied sniper's about to get run over. Oh, he lived.
Now, we have a lot of British infantry on the field right now. Not too sure how this is going to be effective. I've actually played quite a few games against British players. When they go very heavy infantry, what they actually like